At 6 a.m., when most of Chicago was still asleep, Lydia Turner unlocked the door to Lydia's Flowers with a steady, brave hand. The bell jingled softly, but this morning felt nothing like the others. Just a day earlier, her story had exploded across the front page of the Chicago Tribune with a headline the whole city was whispering about: Sterling Ledger Survivor Strikes Back. Cameras had camped outside her building, neighbors watched from behind curtains, and everyone expected Lydia to disappear under the pressure. But instead of hiding, she turned on every light in her shop as if she were announcing to the entire city that she wasn't done. She was just getting started. Behind the refrigerated roses was her newest secret, a hidden consultation nook. A thin, mismatched wooden panel slid open with a soft click, revealing a small safe room filled with gentle lighting and two chairs placed close enough for real conversations. It wasn't fancy, but it was hope for the people who needed it most. Because Lydia had discovered something heavy. 3 more survivors connected to the sterling gray ledger were still out there, living quietly in the city, terrified that the past would catch them. The first was Dev, the barista who made perfect cappuccinos, but avoided eye contact like it burned. He had once kept the sterling books until he realized what the ledger truly tracked. Then there was Maribel, the Civic Center janitor, who walked night halls with her shoulders tight and keys clutched in her hand. And finally Ellie, a timid teenager whose grandmother had vanished after a supposed romance. And with Elias Sterling, Ellie carried more grief than most adults could bear, but she never asked for help until Lydia appeared in her life. Lydia looked at these 3 faces and saw the same fear she'd once seen in her own mirror. She realized she couldn't help just a few survivors. She had to build a system, quiet, clever, and impossible for the Sterlings to track. So she created the ribbon plan. Every bouquet leaving her shop came tied with a satin ribbon that looked delicate but held a powerful secret. Each ribbon carried a microchip with a QR code shaped like a tiny broken chain. Anyone who scanned it through the shop's app was routed to a hidden hotline run by off-duty cops, men and women whose own families had been destroyed by the Sterlings. They weren't just helping out of duty, they were helping out of pain. Words spread in hushed circles. Women touched the ribbons on their bags like talismans. Men folded the satin into their wallets. Survivors who thought they were alone realized they weren't. Lydia had created a quiet underground network disguised in pastel ribbons and bouquets of roses. Then came July 4th, the day Chicago lit up the sky. Grant Park overflowed with music, food trucks, laughter, and families eagerly waiting for fireworks. No one knew that Lydia had planned something far greater than a show. At exactly 8:08 p.m., she stepped into the center of the park with 88 red, white, and blue bouquets, one for every victim listed in the ledger. A flash mob of survivors emerged from the crowd, each holding a matching bouquet. People stopped eating, stopped walking, stopped talking. They watched, confused, until the microchipped ribbons activated and cast a cool blue glow. Then the jumbotrons lit up. Survivor testimonies, voices trembling, raw, brave, filled the massive screens. Names, dates, moments of terror, moments of survival. Stories that had been buried for years now spilled across Grant Park. The whole city froze. The live stream traffic crashed the courthouse Wi-Fi, interrupting Johanna Sterling's appeal hearing across town. Attorneys stared at frozen screens. Reporters scrambled. Judges demanded explanations as the entire city tuned into a truth they could no longer ignore. Some people cried in the park. Some held the bouquets to their hearts. Some simply stood there, stunned that a flower shop had done what no institution had dared. As fireworks burst overhead, a stranger approached Lydia with tears in their eyes and asked, quietly, "Why do you do all this?" Lydia didn't answer with a speech. She simply handed them a receipt from her shop. Printed at the bottom were the words that would soon sweep across social media, across news stations, across the whole country. "We don't just deliver flowers, we deliver exits." From that night on, Lydia Turner was no longer just a survivor. She became Chicago's quiet force of courage, a woman who built a movement from petals, pain, and pure determination. A woman who taught the city that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it blooms.